Hey everyone, we had our first cast party last week and it was a blast. Thanks to all the listeners who joined us live. If you missed it, that episode is up on the podcast feed, so just go check it out on iTunes. In fact, this is a really great opportunity for me to tell you guys that I finally got the actual play part of the website up and running. Took long enough, I know. So head on over to complexaction.net and click on the link for the actual play. You can get links to the RSS feed and the iTunes page where you can find all of our previous episode and other links on there. I even just put a map of Columbia, South Carolina in 2078 out there. It's powered by Google Maps. It's actually exactly the same map that the players use. I fill it with new stuff after each of our play sessions, so go check it out if you're curious about what's going on and the places that the players are going and where stuff is. Finally, I just want to do a little plug on the side. If you haven't checked out my new podcast, the Sixth World Podcast, you should definitely go and do that. It's a fun, casual roundtable discussion format podcast where me and Cassie Levitt, who plays Pillar in this actual play, we get together and talk about Shadowrun. We have guests on to join our discussion. It's news, Q&A, and just fun talk about our favorite game. Anyway, on with the show. You're listening to the Complex Action Actual Play podcast. A friend of Elric's is throwing a block party. The team decides to head out and blow off some steam after their first job together. Now please enjoy Episode 7, Morningstar's Party. All right, well, I'm going to experiment with getting one of you guys to give me a recap of what happened last time. So who wants to volunteer?
Silence.
So, little firebug got a little overzealous again. I almost killed the Johnson, and I really need to give you that write-up on my feelings about the rest of the team.
So, you want me to go for it, or you got that?
I'm trying to think of other stuff, but I don't think I can.
I believe we met Icefire. He did adept stuff to us. Only
Yeah, and you didn't have my back on that, which is bullshit.
I didn't notice. I had no idea it happened. He sounded reasonable.
Didn't you,
So yeah, we found Poncho, gave Poncho to Icefire. I think we've made a new friend, and we got paid. How far you want me to go back in this detail?
Sounds good. I'm just experimenting.
But
did you guys go ahead?
I was about to say, I think that Icefire is officially in the shithouse to multiple characters in this team now, though.
I don't know why. He sounds like a very influential and reasonable man.
And not by accident either.
Payday pretty much trusts that Leroy did see something, regardless of what it was.
That guy's just angry all the time. Don't listen to him.
I mean, he is angry all the time. Like, that
So is
part is
Payday.
true.
Oh, that's why you guys bond. All right.
Yeah. This is a bromance now.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, you guys, of course, completed the job. Now, that was on a Saturday. If you remember, on the Sunday, you guys were invited by Morningstar, which happens to be one of Elric's contacts. You were invited by him, kind of offhand, to go to a party that he was holding at his place. Elric is going to go, and he definitely would have gotten in touch with Pillar to see if she wanted to go and anybody else.
Yeah. I'll go to my little brother's party.
You gotta be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the bus there because I still don't have money for a car.
So much for being cool.
I can afford a scoot. I'm gonna go look for a scoot.
My statement stands.
I'm gonna need at least one more seat for Elric.
The party is, like I said, on Sunday night. It's not too far away from the Horseshoe. I mean, it's in the it's southeast or southwest of the Horseshoe. It's close to downtown. It's in an area called Olympia. Now, Olympia in Columbia is, at least in 2078's Columbia, is kind of a rundown, very low income part of town. There's a lot of like low powered crime that goes on there. It's not like there's not a lot of like contested gang area there, but there is gang activity going on there. There is a good bit of crime, and it's kind of like the area that most people that are, you know, of any means at all have kind of fled for, you know, just economic reasons over time. It's the place has gone downhill and whatnot. Actually, go ahead.
Sorry, is it lower than the horseshoe?
Yeah, it's southeast, or I keep saying southeast. It's southwest of the horseshoe, closer to the river. As an aside, I need to. I'm gonna. Never mind. This area actually, in terms of gang activity, the main thing it's known for is being Columbia, South Carolina's area of operations for the Ancients. They're not really big there. Not many gangs are really big here in Columbia. There are a couple of, you know, like high-powered, you know, first-tier gangs that have started and are starting out in Columbia. The Ancients are one of them, and this is where they make most of their mischief, is in the Olympia area. And but who all's going to be going? Are you all going to hang out at this party?
So the rest of us do know about it.
Yeah. Elric let you guys know. He mentioned it right after he got off the phone with Morningstar a couple days ago, but he reminded everybody that day. He said, "Hey, I'm going to be heading down there. You know, we just got done with a thing. I thought maybe we could go blow off some steam, that kind of thing."
Yeah, I'll go.
A party. Sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know though. It's not really my thing. All right, I'll go.
Yeah, that was hard. Sorry, twist your arm there.
Leroy would be kind of non-committal until you mentioned kind of like where it is, and he gets the idea that the Ancients are going to be there because might have some business there.
Well, if you keep track of these kinds of things, it's at Morningstar's house. It's on the corner of Hayward Street and William Street down in the Olympia area, and it's near an apartment building. But he's got a house down there. It's, you know, an old house, but he's got a house with a pretty big yard. When you get there, well, Morningstar is known for hosting pretty fun parties. If you're, you know, from the area, or if you happen to know Morningstar or anything like that, he hosts parties semi-regularly, and they're pretty fun. People like to go to him. Being the magical fixer that he is, there are often a lot of magicians at his parties. Usually makes for a pretty fun time. Lots of fireworks and tricks, so to speak. He's got a big fire pit in his backyard that he loves to use to full effect. You know, tonight he's got a big bonfire going and several kegs of soy beer, and currently he's manning a makeshift bar in his backyard also that he's set up in a big piece of plywood that's held up on either end by beer kegs.
So, Pillar, who is this guy before I get involved in this situation?
Dirk, if I know.
I thought you knew everyone.
Not really, no. Most people don't really like me. I don't know why. I'm very likable.
You're all right. You got things to work on, but you're mostly all right.
Thanks, man. I don't know. It's little brother's guy. I have no idea who this person is. Well, they're named after Lucifer. Can't be bad, right?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Great.
It's going to be solid.
Right in the good part of town as well.
It's kind of what we do best, no?
Yeah, but how does your brother know this guy?
It's a great question.
I thought he was like all clean and on the up and up before got him involved with this stuff.
Well, I mean, we did watch him melt somebody with a flame spell, so.
Oh, thanks for reminding me of that. The look on his face was priceless.
You don't learn that in Catholic school. Sure, this will be good.
But it's a pretty fun, like I said, it's a pretty lively affair. Whether or not you are having fun at the party or not is, I guess, up to your individual tastes. But like I said, Morningstar, just to cap that off, he's pretty tall. He's human, and he's really tall for a human. He's over 6.5 feet tall. Long black hair, male. He's if you were paying attention, I guess the reason that he was called to begin with is because of his knowledge of magical stuff, and you had suspected that the gang might be magical, and just because of their name. But And like I said, there's a lot of magical people around. There's a lot of, shaman types dancing and singing and hooping and hollering and whatnot. And there's mundanes there too. It resembles a nice lively block party.
I'll go up and introduce myself to Morningstar and ask if he's seen my brother.
Says, hey, yeah, your brother's nice to meet you, by the way. So you're what was your name again? The sister?
Yeah, it's close enough. You can call me Danny.
Danny, nice to meet you. He extends his hand and shakes it vigorously.
Very enthusiastic, aren't you? Lovely party you have here.
I love the neighborhood. I love having people over. What's the point in this day and age of having a place like this, a nice big place like this, if you just don't get to share it with people?
So, people stay here all the time, or is it just a party pad?
Well, I mean, this is where I stay, but we have lots of fun here.
Yeah? All types of fun?
Well, I mean, good-natured fun. He seems kind of like not really put off by the question, but he's like a little caught off guard by the question, like he genuinely didn't expect it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Solid place, man. It's very, very nice.
Thanks. Can I make you a drink? He points to the table.
Absolutely.
He starts mixing stuff together and putting it in a glass and throws some ice in it and like a couple of straws and different colored things, and he hands it to you and he says, here you go.
Yeah, thanks, man. Gracias.
Sure thing. Enjoy.
Payday will go and sit down beside her as Eon materializes beside him in a nice evening dress that's completely out of place. Payday takes a look at the drink. Oh, that's cute. It's all girly. Right? Look at that.
Oh, look at the little umbrellas. Where do you even find those?
Where is so Leroy did make his way down there, right?
He did, and he has found a moderately dark corner to get a good brood on.
Well, kind of like out of nowhere, Stance leans up against the tree or whatever the building that you're leaning up against. You probably don't recognize this guy. So a guy leans up on the wall next to you. He's got like blue streaks in his hair, really bright blue, and he says, "Hey, how's it going? You're a Haley's friend."
I will take a long pull on my soy wiser and then kind of slightly dismissal, like I've met her.
Yeah, I know you're something of a hey. He wipes it. He like puts he's holding a drink in one hand, and it's warm outside, so it's kind of like collecting condensation on the outside. So he switches it to his left hand and then wipes his hand off, on his clothes and sticks it out. And he says, "Name's I don't think we've actually officially met. Name's Z-Trip."
He'll switch his beer to the other hand as well to properly handshake this guy and give him a nice solid handshake, Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy, that's right. I knew I just couldn't remember the name. Yeah, so after he's done shaking your hand, he brings that hand up and brushes the blue hair of like a faux hawk out of his face, and he says, "So yeah, you're one. I'm a friend of Haley's. We know each other, so thought I'd introduce myself."
He's gonna give this guy the long up and down look. Does he seem a scrawny punk kid, or does he seem like he might actually have some meat on his bones?
He's not like scrawny punk kid. He's thin, but he's fit.
Okay, so he's not like Haley when Haley was all kind of, for lack of a better word in Leroy's terms, useless.
No, he's not. He's not. You can tell he's not like hugely physical or anything, but he's not.
He's not a wet paper bag.
Exactly. And he says, "No, I'm sorry. I know we haven't met. I've dealt with your friends." He like kind of looks over to where Payday and Pillar are and tries to get their attention and waves to them.
Pillar will wave back.
He says, "See, we know each other. I didn't mean to give you a bad vibe or anything."
Payday didn't wave back. John did though.
And he says, back to Leroy. He says, "Haley's not here. I don't see Haley here. She didn't come with you guys."
He'll shrug, and the little kid invited us, and he'll kind of motion with the beer, free beer. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was hoping that Haley would be here. She's a really interesting character, you know. I mean, you know about her and her, and he kind of like taps his head, right?
At this point, I think I want to roll some judge attention too.
Yeah, go for it.
And I am a mental bastard with 5 hits. I'm kind of curious if this is like, for one, kind of what the deal is. I kind of get the idea that he's trying to like, yeah, no, you should totally hook us up or something like that. And at the same time, when he starts pointing to the head stuff, I don't think like she did some decking stuff, sort of, if memory serves.
Yeah. So, are you saying that out of character?
For the moment, until I get the results of the judging him.
He seems to be just kind of like grasping and to make conversation, so to speak.
Man, because Leroy is not the most technologically savvy kind of thing, so he'll probably come back with yeah, she did something with some, I didn't really understand it, not exactly my bag.
Yeah, no, maybe you misinterpret me. I mean, she's got the memory issues. You know that, right?
I'll take a sip of his beer and give it I didn't know that, right?
I don't think actually anybody has been told. She has not told any of you guys, no.
I didn't think so, but I was just going for clarification before we go in that direction.
Gotcha.
Like on the trids?
Yeah, it's like amnesia, like totally trid level stuff. Yeah, maybe you didn't know. Yeah, she popped up on the grid about a year ago or so, and nobody knows who she is or where she came from. She doesn't even know.
Huh. And then he'll do that thinking for a moment, so I will drink from my beer thing.
He kind of like realizes, you see like a light go off in his head or in his eyes or something. He's like, oh, you guys, so you didn't know. I hope she wasn't trying to keep that from you. On, man, I do this sometimes in, put my foot in my mouth sometimes. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, she, I guess the cat's out of the bag now. Rudolph took her in. I'm sure you guys met up somewhere around there. She was doing all right with the families for metahumans for a while. They took her in to begin with. I'm not sure why Rudolph took her in, but Rudolph's a mysterious character on his own, you know. Nobody really sure where he came from either. He just took over that place over there, but so who knows?
So I've only recently met Haley. Why don't you tell me a little bit, what do you, words falling apart. How did she tell all you about this?
Oh, well, I take a special interest in Haley.
He's gonna raise an eyebrow like, eh?
He says, oh, wait, that sounds different than I intended it to. She, I keep trying to tell her that I can, okay, so that's not what I meant. It's more of a professional thing.
Fine. I understand when you're young and there's an attractive woman. I get it.
Oh, look, right. It's just, I don't, you know, I mean, not that she's not attractive or anything. She's young. I mean, I guess anyway. I keep trying to tell.
Put the screws to this guy a little bit. He has overcome my broodiness.
Yeah, he says, look, forget it. Forget I said it. I'm not, whatever. What I meant was, I keep trying to tell her that I can help her find out what she wants to know. You know, what I was saying about the amnesia. She's just got to join up with me and my techno friends, you know?
He's going to raise an eyebrow again. Techno friend?
Yeah, you know, otaku kind of technomancers. Like he finally gets a serious look on his face as he has to just spell it out for you. Technomancers. I got a group of people we're technomancers.
So remind me that this is like a bad thing for him to be saying, right?
It depends. I mean, it's 2078, right? So like depending on, there are definitely people are much more accepting than they used to be. As long as you're in the right crowd, and maybe he just feels like he's, you know, among good company, or maybe he's just that confident.
I mean, I don't see where he could be that confident when he can't matrix my fist out of his face. Yeah, but under the situations, Leroy will give a kind of a look around like, is this the kind of conversation we should be having here?
He says, look, oh, yeah, okay, so you can tell that he's kind of been, you know, maybe at this party for a little while, if you know what I mean, maybe had a couple too many to drink, and he's starting to realize that he's talking too much. So he says, forget about it. Just forget. I just figured, if you're friends with Haley, I'm just gonna. You look like you're having a good time over here by yourself. So
I'll send him a comlink ping.
he says, "Hey, yeah, sure. If you ever need anything, Haley and I know each other, so we've got mutual friend there, and yeah. So it was nice. It was nice meeting you." And he does the whole hand switch thing again, wipes his hand, and tries to shake your hand.
Yeah, I will reciprocate and then run a quick matrix perception test. With one hit, I'm just checking to see whether or not he tried to palm a tag onto me.
Not that you can see.
All right. Yeah, no, just a healthy amount of paranoia when it's like, how about them technomancers?
Yeah, you definitely got the vibe that after he said that, he gauged your response and was like, well, maybe I read this guy wrong, and so he got up and left.
But he'll kind of keep that information to himself because, you don't want to go around saying things that people obviously don't want to have known.
Sure, yeah. So, anybody else doing anything of Bokor is at the party, just as a, apropos of nothing.
Oh, well, I gotta go say hi to him then. I think I owe him a beer.
And I'm going to clear my throat and look at Morningstar and look at no glass in front of me.
Yeah, Bokor's there. He's wearing his he's wearing his immaculate white clothing as he always is. He's a little dressed down a little bit, so it's like a loose shirt and pants and a hat. He's also Bokor is very tall. He's an elf, but he's an albino elf, African descent albino elf.
I'll greet him in Haitian.
Yeah, he gives you the appropriate Haitian response that I don't know, and I'm not going to attempt a Haitian accent.
All right.
So just know he's speaking with a Haitian accent. And when he speaks, it's very loud and flamboyant and booming. Like he's a very energetic person.
Yeah, I'll reciprocate in Haitian Creole and just carry that conversation on, just making small talk. Ask how he's doing, what jobs he's been up to lately.
Yeah, he just gives you small talk. He tells you about, stories about going up and down the Congaree River. He lives in a sort of rundown shack in sort of off the Congaree River south of Columbia, and he makes his way into town all the time, especially for events like this. He loves things like this, but that's where he lives, so he likes telling stories about going up and down the river.
I'll ask him if he's got any frogs lately when you have another frog leg fry.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would be amazing.
Man, that's so good. You have a good seasoning on that.
All right, so you guys spend the rest of the evening just making friends, more friends.
I want the fanciest of drinks.
Oh yeah, well, when you ask Morningstar for the fanciest drink, then he says, "Oh, I got a thing right for you," and he starts throwing things together into a cup, kind of seemingly at random. It doesn't look like there's any rhyme or reason to what he's doing, and then he hands it to you, and he says, "Don't ask me to make it for you again."
This is a custom job, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know if I could, is what I'm saying.
He wasn't paying attention to what he put in there.
You got another one of those umbrellas?
He says, "Yeah, I got one extra for you," and he takes out a piece of, takes out like a little sliver of imitation, I guess, pineapple, and sticks the umbrella through it, and then sticks it in the drink.
I like it. And I will just sit there sipping on my fancy drink.
All right, well, nothing too exciting is going to happen at the party if you guys don't cause something exciting to happen. And
So, bar fight?
That's your prerogative, I suppose.
Nah,
Yeah.
Payday mostly keeps to himself, drinking his fancy drinks, and Eon will talk with anyone who is around to hear her speak, kind of keeping people company.
Leroy will at some point come over and find Payday and Pillar and be confused as Elric doesn't seem to be here.
So the guy invites us to a party, and then the guy doesn't show up. Is
Hey,
this a joke?
I love my brother, but he's, a little inconsistent. I'm sure he's fine. I mean, last week I found him passed out on his floor after messing with fire spirits or something. You know, things happen. I should probably go look for him.
I was about to say, don't mind my saying it, but your brother's a little strange.
I think that happens. But yeah, we're all a little strange, right, man? It's fine.
I stir my drink with my fancy umbrella.
Pillar will take a drink out of her bendy straw. and
Out of
then
character,
actually
real.
go to call her brother.
Out of character real fast, I'm gonna grab myself a glass of water that I forgot to get. So I'll be right back.
All right. Eon does speak up, though. Regardless if your brother showed up or not, I should remind myself to thank him. We so seldom get out these days.
Hey, see there? He's right here. He showed up.
Yep, I'm here.
See, I knew you'd be fine. Just answer your phone more.
Yeah, sorry. Normally we get out of Taekwondo just plenty of time for the game, but tonight was a testing night, so it took a little bit longer.
We've been at this party waiting for you. You've been trying to learn Taekwondo.
Yep.
Man, I love you, but no, you know what? No, I don't. Size doesn't matter, right? It's all about form. You got this.
You're taking Taekwondo lessons.
in real life.
He's gonna be
See,
good
we
at
were
it.
rolling it into something for your character here.
We're-
That would've
I
been
still
amazing.
am. I haven't stopped.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but now we need to
Elric,
edit it and stuff.
It's good to learn a life skill.
we're missing our Technomancer again.
Yeah, she was ill today.
Yeah, I've had a cold for the last week. I think it's getting better, but it might just be lulling me into a false sense of security before it hits me again.
You just missed us talking all kinds of smack about Elric.
Well, somebody recorded it, so.
Indeed.
All right, I'm back. Hey,
Hello.
you're back just in time.
Oh, good. Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. So the rest of your people, you invited your sister and your other teammates out to a party, if you recall, that Morningstar was holding at his place.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's where they are right now, but you're late.
Yeah, I figure I've had a cold for the last week, so Elric's getting over a cold.
There you go.
Some heavier medication that made him drowsier than expected, so he woke up late.
I mean, that's probably the real thing, but he just told us he was taking Taekwondo lessons.
I mean, I could see him using that as an excuse.
Yeah,
Even-
too.
Well, after Elric gets to the party for a little while, it's a pretty fun party. As I described to everybody else. I won't describe too much. It's just kind of like a backyard. He's got a big fire pit with a bonfire in it, and he's got a makeshift bar set up that he's out of plywood that he's serving drinks from, and he's got some kegs and stuff. But Elric, after he hangs out for a little while, maybe he's sitting down. Would Elric be hanging out with the people he knows that he just ran with, or his sister, or how would Elric be?
Probably hanging out kind of near his sister, but not trying to act like he's nosing in her business. Other than that, just basically just chatting up, Morningstar when he can, because he's buddies with him. And then just trying to make new friends with whoever else is here, too.
Cool. Well, at one point, a guy walks up to you, and he's kind of like standing near you, and sees who you are, and he says, maybe overheard you talking to Morningstar, and he says, Elric, right?
I look over at him. What does he look like?
He's a human, pretty average looking, actually. He's got short, dark, light brown hair, and it's short cut, close cut, and he's got a longer coat on that he looks like he might be a little uncomfortable in, especially with it being as warm as it is. Although the temperature today was a little cooler than normal, but it's sort of like a long coat. You know what I mean? Like detective style long coat.
Does he look like fancy dressed or shabby or somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between, somewhat like stylish from maybe a decade ago.
All right, yeah, look over. Yeah, that's me.
He extends his hand. He says, "Hey, I'm a friend of Morningstar's, or I know Morningstar, and I overheard you were talking to him, so obviously you know him. My name's Higgs."
Oh, hey, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. He shakes your hand. He says, "You a lot of Morningstar's friends are inclined, so to speak, and he waves his fingers. He says, "Are you?" "I am. I just, making small talk here, I guess."
Right. I suppose inclined is a way you might put it.
He says, "Yeah,
More like obsessed, but
I get that. Yeah, Morningstar tells me, I was asking, about, I like to meet people in the area. He says that, you're pretty smart."
Oh, that's nice of him to say. Morningstar is a pretty wise guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That
Says,
was a joke. Sorry, kind of a dumb joke. Well, it's nice to meet you. What do you do around here?
Oh, I'm somewhat new to town. Been here, several months, but I'm a bounty hunter.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a bounty. I specialize in magical targets, tracking down magical targets. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I just hate to think we might have sniped your last person out from under you, but he wasn't magical.
Oh, no. Yeah, I come to things like this just to kind of, see the locals, make contacts, get familiar with people, and with what I do, it's good to know people,
I haven't really seen you around the horseshoe though. You should check around that area if you're looking to get a feel for what's going on in the underground side of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no doubt. I've heard of the place. I don't get out there too often. I've been around, walked around, and talked to a couple of people, but haven't been there too much. Is out of character? Is Elric wearing his normal goggles around his neck?
Yeah, he's always got them on him. I mean, they're rarely over his eyes unless he's trying to look through them, but they're either propped up on his forehead or more likely hanging on his neck, which they are now.
He points to those and he says, "Those are really interesting."
Oh yeah, I got a pretty killer. Well, they're pretty basic goggles to begin with. Actually, it's just the outer, I guess, case mod or chassis is something I handcrafted.
Wow, cool. So you're into gadgets and fiddling and stuff.
Oh right, and I seem to have a talent for metalworking. It was a required artisan. It was a required coursework at. Well, never mind. In my education, well, my mentors thought it would be best that I pursued some sort of a physical artisan skill, and this one seemed to call out to me.
Interesting.
Also, I like machines. They're interesting. They're exciting. They're weird. I mean, nobody really knows how they work, right? They
Machines.
say they do, but
yeah. I get that. Where'd you did you go to university or anything?
Oh yeah, that's all in the past. I mean,
I just asked. I went to I mean, it's in my past too. I actually went to MIT&T, believe it or not.
Really, yeah, it's definitely one of the more prestigious ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I realize now.
Kind of
by the way,
expensive.
out of character, he's definitely very. You would not need any kind of perception or judge intentions to get that this guy is very socially awkward, which seems strange for a bounty hunter, maybe, or maybe not. But he's very socially awkward.
Well, I'm used to being around a lot of academics and corporate eggheads, so
Yeah. So he says yeah, and now that I think about it, anytime I mention that, I always have to avoid explaining why I'm, anyway. That, like you said,
kidding.
that's in the
I get
past.
that all the time.
he kind
Say
of
no more.
Yeah. Whew.
In the past. Now degrees aren't worth the paper they're printed on in the real world, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe. He looks kind of like almost forlorn. He says, "Anyway, just thought I'd introduce myself. Hadn't met you before, and yeah."
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Have you met my sister? Hey, Pillar! Or no, I wouldn't call you Pillar, never mind. Hey, Danny! Daniel Jackson!
Alright, man. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I just met this guy. What was your name again?
Higgs.
Higgs, yeah, that's right, Higgs. Sorry, I'm bad with names. Higgs is my sister Pillar.
Nice
Higgs
to meet
is a
you.
bounty hunter.
You can call me Danny.
He bounty hunts magical targets mostly, but he's been pretty vague about the rest.
Yeah, who are you looking for right now?
Well, not anybody in particular right now.
Oh, yeah. Elric suddenly looks as if he, as if he thought of something that makes him a bit nervous and steps back a little bit. Never mind. Anybody want? I'm out of a drink. Anybody want a drink?
Yeah, grab me another one. This one with the swirlies is great.
All right.
He says, "I'm still working on this one," and he holds up a drink.
I excuse myself and go off to get a couple of drinks.
He's nervous all the time. I can't take him anywhere.
I understand. I can relate. These things. He like waves his finger in a circle in the air, to indicate the area. He says, "These things, they I often have to convince myself to come to them.
I was say, why they let you in here?
I just meet people. In my line of work, it's important to make contacts, I guess."
Sure, but aren't these the people you might be hunting for one day?
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully these are nice people.
All right.
Which, not to
You
imply.
suddenly get a text. It's from Elric. Try to make sure that try to make sure he's not actually hunting me.
Text back, is he supposed to be?
Text back. I don't think so. If so, I mean,
Are
he's
you
doing a
being
pretty terrible job, but I don't think so.
Anyway, Higgs, you have a good evening. I'm gonna go find my brother. He said he was taking Taekwondo, but I'm pretty sure he's been sick.
Yeah, no problem. It was nice to meet you and your brother.
He's just standing a few meters away by the drinks. He's gonna set the drinks down. He's like pressing buttons on his comlink to text.
I just walk up and like, what? Text him back, like, what's wrong with you?
Payday's looking over at him and just shakes his head.
Well, the rest of the evening will be just more party if you guys ride it out.
How long has it been since I run?
You just finished your run the day before.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll probably excuse myself and get some rest. I got a couple boxes of physical damage from drain.
Yeah.
I've not been feeling well.
It's part of why you were late, I guess. All right, well.
At that point, though, I will come across Elric and question on whether or not he's actually old enough to drink that.
What? I'll have you know I'm 25 years old.
You don't look
Huh.
it. That's why I was surprised when you used bourbon in your little potions there.
No, bourbon's a good base. I prefer vodka though.
Me too.
Something about it being clear that just works a little bit better. Some of the other aspects of bourbon tend to, sometimes interact in unexpected ways with the other alchemical solutions.
I've been dying to ask you. Well, I've met some magic users and all of that kind of stuff. Never really met anybody who's got to make himself some fancy drinks to make spells. You like shy or something?
I don't see how either of those two concepts are related in any way.
Like mages are usually like, boom, here's my thing, and you're not. Other than that flamethrower trick, which was really good.
He kind of colors a little bit and looks as if he's kind of swallowing back something that came up. Right.
Cheers, kid.
Well, I can be loud when I need to be, but yeah, the kind of magic I do best, it requires some preparation.
Eon chimes in. Elric, you know you don't have to explain yourself.
Oh, he puts his goggles on. Oh, hi, Ian. How are you doing?
Quite enjoying the party.
Oh, well, good. I can't think there's much Matrix things going on at a party like this.
No, some people have been able to see me, but not enough. It doesn't matter, though. We don't really get out anymore, so it's very, very nice that you invited us out to this. Thank you.
Can't you, go out in the Matrix whenever you want?
I mean, we go out like this.
Oh, right. So, seen any good programs lately?
Payday cuts into this. You look like you want to get out of here. Do you need a lift?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I'm still pretty feeling weak after, the guy almost shot my sister. That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah. Well, you did a good job. Let's go late to the party.
Good job. I killed that guy.
Real good.
Really dead. It was horrifying.
The shoot pillar a look.
I mean, it's not like I've never killed anybody before, but
But you'd never killed anybody before.
not like that.
Wait, what? What was that? What did you just say?
Huh? Oh, no, we're just talking shop over here.
I assume all four of us are together at this situation.
I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
They were just going to take a pull on his beer. Tough guy over here says he's a real killer.
Kind of a break. Hey, like I said, he did an all right job and didn't puke more than once or twice.
That was the drain. I overcast that one a bit. Just go big or go home, right?
That's right. Speaking about going home, let's go.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. This show literally would not be possible without the generous support of our patrons over at Patreon. If you like the show and you want to help support it, head on over to patreon.com/complexaction. Supporting can get you access to GM notes and even the ability to vote on the direction that the story's going to take. We just recently had one of those, and in the sessions that we're playing, we're carrying that out right now, and you'll be able to get to experience that soon. So if you participated in that vote, look forward to that. That's patreon.com/complexaction to help out. There were several NPCs and organizations which were provided by patrons of Complex Action, and those were Morningstar was submitted by Handsome Bald Man, Z-Trip was submitted by Justin Fenton, and Bokor from Baheru Mengistu. The character art seen on our YouTube page and various social media places was done by Ethan Brewerton. Check out his awesome Shadowrun artwork at esbrewerton.tumblr.com and tell him we sent you over there because we like his work. The background music in this episode is brought to you by Prism Shard. To hear more of his Shadowrun-inspired music, head on over to soundcloud.com/prism-shard and give him some love. The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Complex Action to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its websites, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Complex Action in any official capacity whatsoever.